there, Pursuing Freedom friends. Thanks as always for tuning in today. If it's your first time here, welcome, welcome. I've got a great show in store for you. And if you've been listening for a while, you know I love you and your support. So thanks for tuning in again. And I've got a great story for you guys today around resilience, perseverance, entrepreneurship, real estate, financial freedom, all the things with Joao Macavilca, who's the CEO and founder of Start to Finish Capital. And I'm not going to get too much into his childhood backstory, but the way that he has emerged and designed a life and a business that has been able to give him the success and the freedom that we all crave is just so inspiring. And I know that hearing from him is going to leave you ready to go conquer the world. So, with no further ado, Joao, if you could bring us up to speed, give a little bit about your backstory and how it led you down this real estate journey to where you are today and everything that you're doing now in the marketplace.
Got it. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for having me, first of all. So happy to be here. And my story's not too crazy. I mean, it's pretty much the standard. I wasn't a straight A student. I wasn't, the smartest kid in the room, in my opinion. Just went to school, wasn't for me, didn't like it very much. I did it, it just wasn't really for me. Got a job, worked my way up the ladder, did overtime, did whatever was asked of me, got promotions here and there, tried to do his best, and then just, one day just realized with the cost of living things going up, it just never was going to catch up. I was never going to be able to do what I want, go on vacations like I want, or have that life that I dreamed of. It was just a dream at that point, and there was almost no way to make it a reality. So just, watching other people that are successful, asking questions, reading books. The biggest one that popped out to me was Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Read it once, didn't make much sense to me. Read it again, and it started to click that we're not really meant to work that 9 to 5. I mean, can we do it? Yes, but will they get us where we want to be? Probably not. We'll just upgrade here and there little by little, but not enough to get us the life we want. So, they say a lot of things like, being an entrepreneur is hard, working a 9 to 5 is hard. You just got to pick your hard. So I had my 9 to 5 job, and on the after hours, on the weekends, I saved up everything I could, as much as I could, and pretty much bought my first duplex. Didn't know what I was doing. I just knew Robert Kiyosaki said real estate will always go up in value as long as you pick a good area. So I bought it, thought it was a good price, and just started renovating it. Started doing it myself, like painting the walls, putting in new flooring, new cabinets, things like that. I didn't know about the BRRRR method until I met other investors or my current mentor, Nate Barger, who pretty much told me you buy these things that are not fixed up, are not current market rates, are not where they need to be, and then you fix them up, refi them once you get it to market rate, and you take out that capital back. So when I first met Nate, I had maybe two properties at that point. I was buying one a year, so it was my second one. And today, this was 3 years ago, I'm at 92 so far. So just by learning from him and meeting other people, like I was a very introverted person. You could put me in a room with 100 people, I would have sat in the corner and just minded my own business. If somebody spoke to me, we'd speak. But me going out and shaking someone's hand and talking wasn't going to happen. But I forced myself to grow because I needed to. I went to these events, these conferences. I went to the back table, sat there, and people there are there for a reason. So they're talking to you, they're asking questions, they're learning from you. And it's one thing that I have a lot of friends that are in similar positions where they want out of the standard working force. They want, to make some money and have nice things, nothing crazy extravagant, but to have nice things and go on vacations and do things. And there's just almost no way of getting it, or they're telling other close friends or family members. And it's not that those people don't want you to succeed, it's they don't want you to take a risk that can really go bad. So, being stuck in that kind of room of just, no, do we want to risk that? And, we've done it for so many years, you're fine. And they'll kind of stay stagnant. When you go to these conferences, everyone there is an entrepreneur one way or another. And the momentum they give you and the inspiration they give you of hearing their good stories, their bad stories, it just changed everything for me. That's where I met my partners today, and they helped me scale even faster. I met other, HVAC owners, electric company owners, mortgage brokers. I met everyone that's anyone, and just bounce ideas off each other. Tell them, what I went through so they can avoid it, and vice versa, what they've gone through so I can avoid it. I talked to a mortgage broker a few days ago. I was like, hey, I got a property. Here's what it's making. He's a mortgage broker, Alex Montigue. He's awesome. He's like, "All right, here's what we can do. Let me see what your rates are. Let's do it this way. We may not be able to do a cash out refi on this property, but we can drop it 2% and you'll make more cash flow." And I met him at this event. I would have never ran into this guy ever if I didn't go to these events. Like meeting these people, they become your close friends. And I know it's cliche, but you want to be successful, you want to be big, you got to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be or are going where you want to be. So just being in even like text message group chats, it's different. It's motivating of, hey, try this, hey, try that, or help others out. I mean, there was a post in one of our groups where I forget her name, but she was switching out outlets. Like it's gonna cost like close to 2 grand for a lot of outlets for electrician coming in for 3, 4 days. And I went through that. So I was like, hey, why don't you buy these outlet covers? It's just a rental. They're $2 a pop. She loved it and cost her like $300. And it's just something that I learned from somebody else in the group. So everyone there wants you to succeed. They're gonna help you out. They're gonna always give you that hand and do what they can because they've been through that where they didn't know what to do and you want to give back. So it's just crazy when you meet these people that are either at your level or higher or just starting. All they want to do is help. And it's just been mind boggling for me because I came from where, hey, if someone has a lot of stuff, they're not even going to give you the time of day. It's the complete opposite when you get out there. They want you to succeed. They want to learn from you. They don't want anything negative from you because they see themselves in what you were doing or could be a future partner. They don't know.
I know, I agree so much. And one of the guys on my show, not too long ago, he used this analogy of he said he's always looking to add to his barrel of monkeys. And he was talking about those little plastic monkeys with one arm reaching up and one arm reaching down. And it's like
Right.
if you think of it like that, though, you're always going to be reaching up and getting in proximity with people that can expand your thinking, really. Like your belief system expands when you see what's possible in someone else. And then everything you learn, now you're reaching your hand down, even right here, taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your story with us is an opportunity for someone listening to reach a hand up and you're reaching a hand down. It's just like it's so much more fun than you realize. And
Yeah.
kudos to you for doing it even as an introvert.
Yeah. I was very introverted at first, but I wouldn't say I'm an extrovert. Yep. I'm kind of half and half. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So let me ask you something. You said that in the beginning you bought the duplex and you were like, I'm buying one property a year. I had two properties. And then you said, then as of since 3 years ago, you're now up to 92 properties, which is absolutely insane. And there's so many components to what makes that incredible. Not the least of which is the fact that the last 3 years in the real estate industry has been an interesting time with interest rates and shifting markets and all these things. So can we back up a little bit and talk about how did you make a quantum leap from 2 to 92? Like how did you get 90 properties in 3 years?
So I started buying just single families and duplexes, things like that. And that was kind of like my bread and butter. They were pretty simple, pretty fast. It's just it wasn't scaling quick enough. So all my duplexes, for example, are built in different cities, different builders, different, systems and bedrooms. Everything is all different. So when I met my partners at one of these conferences, they're like, why don't we buy buildings? And I was like, yeah, that's my 10-year plan. It's like, no, let's just do it now. And I thought it was just all talk. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's look into it. And they've already found one when they were telling me this. They were kind of interviewing me because I had the construction background and they didn't, and they weren't local. So they were just looking for someone to be able to boots on the ground, knock it out, and didn't have to worry. A lot of investors will tell you they've gone through multiple contractors on one project. They did not want that. They wanted one contractor on the project, knock it all out within the budget, and rinse and repeat. So I looked at them. Apartments were way simpler than houses, are smaller. And what I actually ended up learning from them is they're a lot easier than duplexes and single families. Because again, I've got, let's say, 10 single family homes, all 1,000 square feet. They've all got a different HVAC, different water heater. They've got different electric components. They've got different layouts. That one building, the 12 unit, the first one we bought, once I did the first two, everything else was rinse and repeat. Same flooring, same paint, same light fixtures, same sinks, toilets, same everything. So it was just, hey, when you got the first two down, let's just create a system and go. And they just started going easier. Then after that, we bought the 54 unit that we're renovating now. I think we bought it in November of last year. So we're, what is that? 7 months in so far, close to 8. As of last week, we already finished 24, so we're almost halfway done. The goal was 2 years, and knock on wood, we're going to be way before that. The returns are going to be astronomical for our investors. We're below budget on construction. We're above our what we're supposed to be for rents. So everyone's going to be very happy with that one. And it just looks crazy. I mean, if you want to look at it, there's some photos and videos on my Instagram, just the before and afters. It looks crazy. The team we've got on site, we're doing 2 a week right now. It used to be one every 8, 9 days. I bring in more people if needed, or we got a big influx of empty units, just knock them out. And doing that volume gives me the leverage to go to Home Depot or Sherwin Williams and say, "Hey, I've got these big properties coming up. What can you do for me as far as discount goes, or shipping goes, or assign me a pro member?" And they'll do it. They see the business coming and they'll give you discounts and give you better pricing. So couldn't be happier. And that works for my properties on my own as well.
When you talk about this, are you staying in one geographic region because you're the main contractor, or are you traveling to do buildings in different markets?
So I'm traveling. I mean, depends on what the project is. So for the 54 unit, for example, I've got my on-site team. I'm there usually to make sure they got what's needed to get done, make sure everything's ordered, everything's there. If they're shorthanded, somebody calls out, someone's sick or too many units, I'll go up there, spend a few days and, back to the basics, get it down and get it running. Otherwise, I've got a team that does it. Then I go to another project, same thing. My in-house team, for example, handles apartments. They're pretty straightforward, nothing major needed. Other projects may need an electrician, a plumber, an HVAC guy. Those are I sub out. So I just go there on site, make sure we're on schedule, make sure things are getting done, and do it that way. If all goes well, we got a big project coming up in South Carolina. That one I may be on site 2 weeks at a time for the next 7, 8 months, but we'll see.
And then with the partnership, it's you and a couple partners, and then your primary responsibility is to essentially you're doing the BRRRR method on commercial buildings, on multifamily apartment buildings.
Correct.
Okay, so the refi is still happening, and then you mentioned your investors. So are you also you're doing syndications then as well? You're raising capital?
Yeah, we do syndications on these buildings.
Okay, so I was curious then from the perspective of taking time to share this story with the listeners, is it something where if someone was listening and they've never done any kind of, buying of buildings and they're too busy to even think about that, but maybe they'd be interested in investing passively, that's an option for them to get on your email list?
Yep. So pretty much they just, reach out, see what we got in store for them. One thing about our team is we're not going to email, 5 or 6 deals a week. Others will do that. When we do send something out, we've got to understand we've pressure tested it very hard. We've done every negative aspect that can happen, everything that can go wrong, and made sure we have it under control, ready to go and knock it out. I mean, this one, our budget, I think, for the renovation construction was 13.5. Knock on wood, we're at 11.6. Our projected rents were supposed to be 11.99. We just got some in for 13.99. So we just do worst case scenario, make sure we're always covered. We have multiple exit plans and just do it that way. Make sure everyone wins.
And does each project, I assume, have different returns, or are you seeing pretty
Yeah.
similar returns on all of them?
They're pretty different returns. I mean, we never want to go less than, like 8%, things like that, and make sure everyone's always winning and make sure it makes sense for the investor. So it's pretty much for those people that don't want to go out there and risk getting their own project going wrong. We have a track record. We have a strong team. We've done this multiple times, and the numbers prove it pretty much. So, a lot of people like that. And then end of the year is always the busiest time because they've got to move their money away one way or another. So,
And do you have a minimum investment, or does it vary depending on the
it
project?
depends on the project. So, like the 12 unit, I think the minimum was 25,000. The 54 unit, because it was bigger, the minimum was 50,000. So it just depends on how big the project is.
Got it. And for anyone listening that is not familiar with syndications, I actually have invested in syndications through some trusted operators like Joao. And essentially, if you put in 100,000 and the return is 8%, it means that you're getting $8,000 a year as your return, which in a lot of cases, at least in the case of this investment that I'm a part of, it's quarterly. I don't know if you guys do quarterly, Joao.
Yes.
Yeah. So, every quarter I'm getting a $2,000 deposit, but then we're also part owner. So we have a small percentage of ownership. So we're also participating in the equity play. I've actually never done it with a BRRRR. So what is your long-term plan for your investors? Is it buy and hold, or do you have like a 3 to 5 year exit strategy where they get their initial principal back? Like, how does it work in the long run?
So the first option is to do the BRRRR method. So buy it out and make sure everyone gets their money back and keep it and make money. The second option is to sell it. And then after it, obviously it gets turned around because when we first bought it, I think the average rent was 520. Right now we're bringing them all up to 1099 minimum. And then we've got some for 1300 now. So no matter what, it's being positive at a certain point. And then worst case scenario, which we've already passed that mark, we're not even going to get there. It's just to sell it for a return once half are renovated.
Okay, so earlier you alluded to, the good, the bad, lessons learned, what to avoid. So I would love for you to take us through any of the pitfalls that you experienced in between reading Rich Dad Poor Dad to where you are now that may help someone listening who's thinking, man, I want to quantum leap myself to a place of financial independence. What should they be wary of?
Always prepare for the worst. Even if you think you've got it all down, you think everything is good, prepare for the worst. Um, Always follow the comps. Just because you want to make it look the best neighborhood and make it the most expensive, if your comps don't support it, it's not worth it. You're just going to be losing money. Another quick story is with the first 12-unit building we bought, we closed at 11 a.m. and at 1:30 p.m. we got a call that the main line, water line for the building broke. So all tenants were getting very minimal water pressure. And at that time, it was already ours. Um, Called the city. It was not past the city line, so it was our problem. First thing to do as soon as you own it. So that was fun. Um, Another great reason they had me on the team is I was able to call different plumbers, get multiple quotes on there. As being a general contractor, I can sort of speak the language for plumbing and know what we do and don't need. We got three bids, one at 16K, one at 14K, one at like nine. After turning them up a little bit and getting down to what we need, we ended up paying, I think it was 5.6. So
Wow.
big difference, big thing that was pretty much solved pretty quickly. It took like a day and a half, 2 days, but we got it resolved. So that's something you got to bring to the table. Just make sure you're bringing value, make sure you're doing as much as you can, and just keep pushing ahead. I mean, things are going to happen. It's how we address them and how we handle them that makes a difference.
Awesome. And just for the listeners to understand, I bring folks like Joao on here for multiple reasons. And we talked about this on a recent podcast interview that there's more to learning than just how it's going to benefit you personally. So you might be listening and thinking, okay, I'm a busy real estate professional. I know my husband and I, we built our real estate portfolio with residential units, and we did everything from long-term rentals to short-term rentals, Airbnb, house hacking, all the things, right? And it was a great path to freedom, but there came a point when we were just too busy. And so we talk about real estate investing as passive income, but if you're running an Airbnb, there's nothing really passive about it, you're doing all the things. And so passive investing is something totally different where Joao and his team are the operator, they're doing all the heavy lifting, and you're finding an operator that you can trust and doing an investment and being a small partial owner of a large investment and then getting to experience those returns, which is wonderful. But obviously you have to vet the operators, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. And something I also am passionate about is just seeing the streams of passive income from the different investments that we've participated in. And so that's one piece of the puzzle, right? Is like maybe I'm too busy to go buy more buildings, buy more properties, and I don't have the bandwidth for that. So I want to invest passively. Great. But there's so much more to it. And as real estate professionals, we're always talking about how can you think beyond the transaction and how can the conversations that you have with your clients be elevated to go a little bit deeper into their big picture vision for wealth building and financial freedom and the differential between someone meeting a real estate agent or a mortgage lender who only talks about the interest rate or how we're going to find you a house. Like that's very, very transactional. It doesn't set you apart from the rest. But if you start having conversations with them around, what are their strategies for building wealth? Do they love their career? Do they see themselves doing this for a long time? And then you get to start sparking conversation and ideas and then having resources in your back pocket. So my advice to the listeners is always be adding to the Rolodex. Always be looking for things that interest you, things that spark you. Just be more curious because the more curious you are, the more educated you are, and the better you're able to deliver value with confidence to your clients. So this is all about going above and beyond, giving value, like the Go Giver philosophy, which is the book that changed my life, is go above and beyond, give more value than you hope to receive in payment, and you'll have clients coming to you. So I just wanted to share that at the end to get people thinking about like, what do I do with this information? Well, you can explore it more for yourself. You can explore it more to put that information in your back pocket and to be a conversation starter for your clients, to build authority, to build your reputation, to build value. I mean, all of these things create impact and create brand. So there's a reason behind why I diversify the content here, and it's to help you level up with your knowledge and hopefully level up your life. So, Joao, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and learn more, I'm sure I didn't ask all the questions that the listeners have, but you make it so easy to access you and provide great guidance. So, how can folks follow you, get a hold of you, learn from you? What are the best ways?
So the best way would be like Instagram. It's my first name, JOAO MAC_STF. And Facebook, whatever it is, just schedule a call or reach out, send a DM, whatever it is. Always happy to hop on a call and chat and see how we can help.
I love it. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your story and to share the opportunity because I know that there are people out there like you that are changing lives, not just your own, but everyone that gets to be in contact with you and participating in what you're doing. So thank you so much for taking the time today, Joao.
No, of course, thank you. I mean, the last thing is I would not be able to visit and travel the world and see things with my family had it not been for real estate. It's just been life changing. So couldn't love it more.
I couldn't agree more. It can be the most life-changing thing. It's incredible and I love just how many ways in which real estate can where you can play. Like there's just so many ways to play in real estate and it's so fun and it's so life-changing for all of us. So, yeah, thank you so
Really agree.
much.
Thank you.
And to all my friends out there, as always, if you have a takeaway, send a DM to Joao, reach out to him, connect with him, send me a message if you're curious about how passive investing has been beneficial in my life. And, as always, if you're loving this content, stop what you're doing wherever you are, park the car, leave the review because it really does help us continue to attract amazing guests like Joao and help this content get found. So more people can build a life you don't need a vacation from. As always, I love you, I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.